Tonight's program is entitled Story Weaving. Story weaving is the third stage in storytelling. Now, before we've talked many times about the elements of structure versus the art of storytelling. Story structure is the underlying series of dramatic relationships, the logistics of how things relate to one another in your story. Storytelling is the manner in which you express that to an audience, including how you unfold that information over time to them through exposition. Now, story structure includes four broad areas: character, theme, plot, and genre. Whereas storytelling has four different stages because it's a process, not like structure where you're looking at four different aspects, four different areas. But storytelling has four stages of communication that line up between the author and the audience. And they include story forming, story encoding, story weaving, and reception. Story forming is where you work out the dramatic relationships that are going to comprise the structure of your story. Story encoding is where you turn those raw dramatic interrelationships into the real people, places, and events that populate your story. Story weaving is where you work out an exposition plan, determining how you're going to unfold that information for your audience. And the final area, reception, is actually the process of writing. Even though reception sounds like it deals more with the audience, it's really saying that a story is a collaboration, ultimately, between author and audience. And in fact, the author must keep in mind what the audience is bringing to the theater or to the book in order to determine what words to put down on paper. Can you use certain buzzwords and keywords that the audience would understand? Or do they have to be educated in this? Can you call up a memory of some current event that everyone who's going to be in your audience would already understand, having seen the news reports? All of these things and many more go into your subconscious considerations or your conscious considerations if you like to work things out more as an intellectual puzzle or a battle plan when you're dealing with reception. But tonight we're dealing with story weaving. Reception is a later class. And story weaving is after you've worked out specifically the symbols, the scenes, the kinds of dialogue, the kinds of characters, the events that you want to transpire that will illustrate your structure. How do you unfold that for your audience? Why would you even care about that? Well, going to see a movie or reading a book is partly about learning something about how to solve problems as far as the author describes this is the way to go about solving this kind of problem. You see, in real life, we only see problems from the inside as they happen to us. But a story can give a view we don't get in real life, the view of the outside looking in. And that view gives us the author's opinion of what the best way to go about solving a particular problem is from an objective view, from a more considered view, a wider angle, as it were. So that gives us a sense of why we want to go to stories, but once we're there, how come we stick with them when they last so long? Because they have to be entertaining. If you just present information to the audience, all they're using is their intellect. If you present them a ride, like a roller coaster ride, then their emotions get involved too. People learn better, they're more easily convinced, they are more powerfully convinced, they feel more fulfilled. They only feel that they have experienced everything that there is to know about something if they also get it at an emotional level. So, there's many reasons emotionally why you would want to mess with your audience's mind, fool them into thinking the goal is one thing only to turn out to be something else, to put things in a different order than the actual order in which they occurred to the characters, and then the audience has to come to realize, oh, I thought that this person was responding to what person A did because of their reactions. Now I find out the order of those scenes was actually reversed, and the person who was doing the responding was actually the person who did something first. And because of that, they're no longer excusable. In fact, the person that we thought was the bad person that they were responding to is actually just doing the responding. Well, that helps us also in terms of our own prejudices and expectations and preconceptions. It exercises our open-mindedness. It gives us an opportunity to take a look at our own mental processes as an audience, not just in terms of solving the problem that's described in the story, but also in terms of making sure the mechanism of our own minds is not rusty and is running smoothly. It's exercise for the mind, an exercise for the heart.